if I drop in the idea that, let's say, the entire riverfront is made forest, let's say, a very radical idea, so that the river serves the animals more, because we have rivers serving the citizens. Let's say if they serve the animals more, what do you think about that idea? I know it is
See,
very
that
radical.
we need to put forward those ideas so that like we can explore further, and it's good like we can think something like that, but we need to think the local settlements also. See, we have, if you will talk to riverfront from Bhagalpur to Kahalgaon, next to Kahalgaon you go to the Vateshwar Asthan, you have around 25 to 30 kilometer riverfront stretch. So let's talk about Bhagalpur. We have 8 to 10 kilometers. We are developing this forest with some small plazas where you can do this activity, puja activity, ghat, right? But next to Bhagalpur, where you have less settlement, you just do that. Whatever proposition you are making, you just do that. You start making plants, you start planting trees, and you start creating forests, so that like yesterday we were telling, right, those curves, they are like getting bigger, right? So even it can stop the soil erosion also, and it can promote this ecology also. So even we are doing that from Kahalgaon to this Vateshwar Asthan through tourism department. They gave us they told us to prepare a proposal, so that like how can you develop this Uttarvahini Ganga riverfront. So from Kahalgaon we are trying to develop the complete stretch into forest, except those stretch where we have this small settlements. We are trying to develop that as a plaza. And even in Bhagalpur, at several places during this Sawan Mela, many pilgrims from this Devghar, like they go to Ganga to take out the water, right, holy water. So even in some pockets we are trying to develop that plaza where like a large gathering also that plaza can cater.
Okay, Salim sir, would you like to say something on the radical idea?
I would be careful with these radical ideas. On one is, when we talk about ecology, it does not mean that we need to plant trees. Let's be very careful. For example, if we alter the food chain on any of these areas, you would be probably losing some of your species, which might be very crucial. Or you can increase the floodplain area, and it could lead to more flooding, and it could also lead to even recourse of the river Ganga, because it has happened in the past that river Ganga had changed course and all. And since you need to also understand that Bhagalpur is almost at the end where the river starts meandering more, and you can see the meandering take shape when it goes past West Bengal and moves into Bangladesh, and in Bangladesh it is called Budi Ganga. So, I would say that since I would always go back to what I started with, that reclaim Bhagalpur. The idea is that if it was a forest land, if it had enjoyed that kind of a flora fauna, and it had attracted that kind of a situation from all walks of life, then yes, surely we should look at that. But if it was not a forest area, and if we look for afforestation, then we have to be very careful. Well, there are examples of good afforestation. You look at the example of Matra Mandir and the area Auroville around it. It was once a total barren area, and it was reforested, and today it's one of the most thriving ecosystem there. But we also need to be careful on the consequences of eucalyptus tree that was planted all along the road that was the GT road earlier, and the water table reached one of the lowest point in its decade. Because so that's, I think, it's a very, very careful decision that we need to take, whether we need to go for a forestry, whether we need to go for a reclamation of land, whether we want to add any infrastructure, and even heritage, because we famously say that even my father's house is a heritage, so should I protect it? We have to understand that heritage is a definition that has to be at a public realm. It is not an individual definition. So if my house is on the way of development, if it is restricting any kind of a public development, we need to also make recourses on those. So whatever has to, the principle of participatory planning comes into play here, that if the forest is going to serve an answer, let us ask the people, let us ask the governance, let us ask the entire economic utility around it. Because I remember one of the forestry projects took a heavy toll on the honey, the tribal people who were selling honey from the honey bees that they cultured. But because of these forestation, they lost a huge amount of their bees on that. So these are very sensitive issues. I think we should be very careful before we propose anything massive.
Okay. Yeah. That's a very, very good answer that we have to look into that thing.
That's what we need to do first. Like, see, without going to any conclusion, we need to put the ideas first, and then we need to analyze.
Yes.
Then
Exactly.
only we can jump into that.
Yes, exactly.